Just a second. Reading. Liquor Control Commission meeting, June 16th, 2020.
Good afternoon, everyone. Call the meeting of the Liquor Control Commission to order. We have all 5 members present. We do have a quorum. You all should have your agenda in front of you. Item number 2 is approval of September 3rd, 2019 Liquor Control Commission meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by member Metzger, second by member Wendt. Are there any comments or questions? If not, all in favor, please raise your hand. And opposed? Motion is carried. Item 3, one item for action, is a request approval renewal of our annual liquor licenses for years 2020 and 2021. And at this time, I'll call to the podium our Assistant State's Attorney, Ms. Samantha Vasquez. I have met with Samantha and we have reviewed all the licenses and she will give you a little report. Thank you. Ms. Vasquez.
Thank you. Hello. Good evening. We have 12 total applicants this year, none of whom are brand new applicants. I have reviewed each of the applicants, and as Chair McIntyre has already stated, we've gone through these. There are 3 applicants who did not submit an inventory list, but the inventory list is not required by code or statute. It's just an our application. There were 2 applicants who were missing health department letters of approval for their outdoor garden. That is a Class G application. Those folks are the Leroy Country Club and the Moraine View Park. Moraine View submitted a letter in lieu of that from the National Parks Department.
It's the state natural resources.
Natural resources. I left the letter back there. And then Leroy said that they have been in contact with the health department, but haven't heard back because the health department is overworked right now with too few workers. Basically, that's saying that for a Class G outdoor garden, at the time that that garden is established, they need to have a special use permit from building and zoning and a health department approval. Each of these established or outdoor gardens have been established for a long time. I don't think there's any issues with that. We just didn't have that attached. That is a requirement of the county code and not the Illinois statute. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. All of the applicants have the required dram shop insurance and the required amount of liability. Each of them have submitted the required bond, which is a $2,000 bond. And everything else is pretty much in order. So I can take any questions that you might have about any of the applicants.
Member Schaefer?
Yeah, I just want to clarify on what you said about the Class G license for the outdoor. So they're missing the health department approval, but we're approving these conditionally then? Is that what we're doing here?
Well, the approval letter was ideally established at the time that the garden was erected. And so some of the letters, for example, date back to 2006. They're not new. They're not on a yearly basis. So for whatever reason, they have been established for a long time, and maybe the letter was too old and the health department didn't have the record and they didn't have it. So they did not have that with their application.
But you said that they have to have that in order to have that license. It's in this county code.
That's correct.
So then that's why I'm kind of questioning if they're going to get that from the health department eventually? And that's why I was kind of questioning, are we doing these conditionally? And they can have that license once that actually happens?
My understanding is that the health department, at least for Leroy, is intending to get back to them with that information. And then the Marine View had submitted an alternative letter showing that it was a good, it met the requirements.
IDNR approved Moraine View. Leroy Country Club's had that outside sitting area for 14 years. Health Department needs to just go back and take a look at it. Ms. Vasquez went through all the files in detail. I sat down with her for about an hour this afternoon and went through the rest of those. Those inventories it's just something that's just part of our application form. It's not required by code or by our laws. So I didn't see any other problems with it. The health department just needs to go back and revisit. They haven't done, Leroy Country Club hasn't done anything new. They've had a deck out there for years, so I don't see any problems with it. We can do that conditionally with ours if you want. Anyone else? Member Solner? Every time you raise your finger, it blends in. I can barely see you, so.
Okay, I'll wave a little more.
Okay.
So has there been any consideration or thought of rebating part of the liquor license fee since most of these locations have been closed for 3 to 4 months? Was there anybody that asked to have that done?
No one did. I thought about it. We talked a little bit about it, but they had already all paid. And we didn't feel like it was going to be any problem. The state license also needs to coordinate with it. And I thought matching up dates and all, but it'd be better if we didn't do anything at this time with them. I talked to the state's attorney about this, Mr. Knapp, and we checked and they had already complied and already paid, so we didn't feel like it was necessary.
Okay, that's fine.
And all I was thinking about doing is trying to give an extension, so then it wouldn't match up the date with the state license. So that's where we were. Anyone else? Member Metzger.
I have 2 questions because I want to clarify what Member Schaefer was talking about. So we'll start with that. So there are 2, the Marine View and the Leroy Country Club, that would be provisional. Is that what we're saying until the McLean County Health Department gets the documentation that they need, or they have to do a re-inspection? Is that what I'm understanding?
So the only one that's really missing an approval letter, because Moraine View submitted a different letter, is Leroy, and they're missing the health department. They have reached out and are waiting to hear back. I'm guessing the health department only has to look in the records to see what they have previously issued, and since nothing has changed, that should suffice.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to clarify my understanding. I have not seen anything in the newspaper, but has there been any violation? Have there been any violations with any of these facilities at this point that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of, but what do you mean violations? As in like executive order violations, or what other type of violations?
We've had situations that they sold alcohol to underage people, that they sold alcohol outside of the hours that they were allowed to sell alcohol, those kinds of violations.
Not to my knowledge. In one of the on the application, there is a portion for anyone to list any prior criminal history that they have. None of them were listed, and I also took the liberty of looking those up myself since I have access to that. There was one person who had a criminal history listed on an application. That was from Indian Springs. That person was listed as their clubhouse manager. They weren't a controlling member of the corporation in any way. But her criminal conviction does not violate their ability to get the license. The criminal conviction is from 2009. It was felony theft, class 3, and she received 30 months of probation. So just for your information.
So, but none of them that you're aware of have had any,
No.
the facilities have not had any liquor violations that you're aware of.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
And I have not had any reports from the sheriff's office or state attorney's office either.
Okay.
So I need a motion to approve. Is there a motion? Motion by member Went, second by member Schaefer. Any other comments? All in favor, raise your hand. And opposed?
Thank you.
Motion's carried. Thank you, Ms. Vasquez. Anybody else have any business communication at this time? If none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. See you a little later.